Oh, damn. Oh, I look so young. An earring, what was I thinking? I look so skinny. I look so Asian. Welcome back, Deep Review TV viewers. Chris Nichols here, and I think we've got a fun short video here for you today. Certainly a nostalgic one for me. We're going to be playing with the Nikon D780 and the Nikon ES-2 negative digitizing adapter. Now, this lets you digitize all of your old black and white negatives, color negatives, slide film, and they have a function in the camera which makes it very simple and easy to use. The D850 had it, the D780 has it, and I found all my old negatives. I mean, this is like the start of my photography. I've got stuff that I shot in Calgary a little bit. I've got stuff that I started shooting for a couple of years in London in the UK. And we're just going to kind of go through, show you the process, and I get to relive a lot of these old photos, and you get to see where I started. Oh, puddles, 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 puddles. Oh, and then parched earth. The duality is profound. Now with the Nikon system, they're intending for you to use the Nikon macros, like the 60mm macro or the 105mm macro on this kit. But of course, you can use this adapter with any Nikon camera. It doesn't have to be the ones that have the built-in functionality. And of course, you could use it with different brands of macros. There is some adjustability here so that you can get everything to focus properly and frame as close as possible. But you might have to do some cropping. You're gonna have to do some reversing of the image afterwards if it's a negative film that you're using. So there's gonna be a little bit more work involved here. But with this, it actually makes it quite simple. So I've got the ES-2 adapter here. It's just got the diffuser to give that nice even lighting in the background for the negative. I'm using a 60mm macro today, and they do give you a couple of adapters. This is the adapter A. It's a little bit shorter. It's working well with this lens. You have an adapter B here as well if you were going to put this on like a DX crop body, or other lenses might need extra distance there, so you get those as well. So Nikon give you an FH5 adapter for mounted slides, and then if you've got cut slides or negatives, you get this FH4 adapter, and then you can see here, it's just a very simple piece of plastic. It doesn't really matter how you mount the negatives because you can reverse this and put it in the adapter, but just make sure that they're right side up and they're proper left to right facing into the lens when you pop them in there. I don't think you're gonna get amazing film flatness out of here, but it seems to work okay. And it's got little notches so that you do feel click stops as you move it through the adapter when you're trying to get everything lined up properly. Now for a light source, I'm just using this LED light source here. It's nice and even, it's diffused, that's good. You want a pretty even light source, and ideally it has to be in the range that your camera can white balance for. Now you can absolutely shoot RAW or JPEG if you're using a different camera, or if you want to shoot on 780 but not use this built-in live view process. However, you will have to, again, reverse the image and all that kind of stuff afterwards, but it would give you room to correct things like white balancing issues. Now, if you use the live view function that we're going to talk about today, it is very important to understand that it only shoots JPEG. Now, it's awesome that you can preview the shots in live view, you can change the brightness in live view, you can, of course, even make color negatives into black and whites, that's pretty neat, but it is only going to spit out a JPEG, so you really want to make sure you get exposure and white balance accurate because you can't really edit those afterwards. Okay, so we're going to start with the color neg, and I remember this day I was shooting at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, and I think this was on my Nikon F4, shooting manual focus glass, and Fuji Superior 100. So I got loaded in there. Make sure that you're not blocking any of the rebate and that it's all lined up nice and even. And you do want to get these as clean as possible because, again, they're JPEGs, any dust and stuff like that. You don't want to be opening, doing spot removal, and then resaving if you can help it. Okay, so camera's on, I'm in live view mode, and basically I can just move this adapter around. You can hear those click stops, but you can also probably see there's a lot of plane here, so I find that I have to move it around a little bit, make sure I'm not seeing the edge of the rebate on the film there. A little bit of finagling and it works okay. I hit the I button, I go into negative digitizer, and then I can choose monochrome or color, and actually does a really good job, even on a color negative, turning it to black and white. I'm gonna go color here. There's my shot. Now, you have to use this in aperture priority. I've set my aperture to f8 because it's going to be sharp. It should give me nice, even flat field as much as possible. And ISO 100. I've got a good light source here. And remember that even if the shutter speed goes slow, it doesn't really matter because this is all attached to the camera. So motion blur is not an issue. I've got it here. I'm going to hit OK, adjust my brightness till I say, yep, that's what I want. I'm going to go with -1. That looks good. And then to focus, I can let the camera do that in live view autofocus just by touching on the screen wherever I want. Or I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to zoom in with my plus and minus buttons. I'm just going to focus here manually, and that looks good. Go out and take a picture. So I have to say, quite easy to figure this out. And really the only thing I'd say is I like the result I'm getting, but I don't get any sort of real creative control other than changing brightness darker or lighter. So, you know, if the negative was faded or if I feel like the color just wasn't quite there, I can't adjust it using this tool. And even the black and white, I mean, it's contrasty, it's beautiful, but sometimes I might want to play with my tonality. So I like the convenience of this, but I could still absolutely see not using this live view mode and just shooting the photo with the adapter and the backlight as properly as I can as a RAW, and then making my adjustments afterwards. Oh yeah, Kodak T400 CN, that was the color negative black and white they made. I liked it. I could develop in the lab really easily where I worked. Kodak Tri-X, always one of my faves. HP5, Agfa Ultra 100, I miss Agfa so much. Ilford XP2, I was trying like every single film. Oh, and my favorite, Fuji Neopan 400. Well, at least for me, this has been a lot of fun, right? Just getting to relive old memories and see what I was taking 20 years ago and stuff. And this whole experience with the ES-2 using the 850 or the 780 specifically today, it's actually very simple. It seems a lot easier, a lot more straightforward than what we used to do with flatbed scanners. And I could absolutely see this being a great tool if somebody has this kit and just wants to get all those old negatives digitized and preserved. Of course, you can use the same adapter with other cameras, but keep in mind you're gonna have to do a little bit more work, although you do get more creative control being able to shoot in RAW and reverse it yourself and do what you want there. But the other thing that's kind of surprising is I don't know why the Nikon Z6 or Z7 doesn't have this, you know, live view digital negative digitizer built into it. It seems kind of funny, but maybe they think that only SLR users will have film lying around and that mirrorless people don't shoot film. I don't know. Now, it'll also be worth you taking a visit to dpreview.com because we're gonna have a sample gallery of these old shots that I took, you know, some of my favorites. You can see how little or how much I've learned in the last 20 years. I'll let you be the judge. But there's also an analog only forum that's just started up as well. And of course, that would be a fantastic place to find out about film or talk about your old nostalgic days using film photography. So check that out. Go to our Instagram feed. Please check out Twitter as well. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments below. Let us know what you think. And of course, please subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate that. Thanks so much for joining me on this look back. We'll see you soon.